Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be starting on cleaning up this cross or forging the cross. I made this cross in the other video when I flame cut the base. This is for a current order that I have on the go. It is a custom cross that I'm making for a client. All I'm doing here is trying to get rid of the hard fire scale from the flame cut edge and also smooth it up a bit before I start forging on it. This is pretty imperative that you do this so this way you don't create cold shuts or have additional roughness of work along the edges, and you'll see why that's important here in a moment in the next clip. So this is less of a how-to tutorial and more of just me showing you some of the process that you could do to make your own cross. Got the forge really fired up nice and hot. You can see all those little sparklers coming out of there. That's from the grinding dust that has settled inside the forge, not because of piece burning. So in this first clip here, I tried to actually take the cross and forge the body portion of it under the power hammer, but as you can see here, I was having some clearance issues. So I gave up on that ideal and decided I'll just go ahead and forge out the tang, or the little bit of a tenon that's going to actually mount this to the base. Now this tenon won't be riveted or peened, it will actually just be plug welded from the bottom of the base. But having a power hammer makes this a pretty nice, quick and easy process to create a double set down. But as you can see, it does have some reach issues because of the arms of the cross. A cross is a fairly complicated shape to try to forge. So now we'll rely on hand hammering techniques. This is one thing I liked about my hammer that I have forged, that I use every day as my main forging hammer. It is a square faced hammer, and it's also very square on its profile, the front and back sides of the hammer. And I did this intentionally because the hammer that I had in the past was a 3-pound Harbor Freight hammer, and it did not lend itself to getting into tight places, as what you're seeing me work here. I'm able to get this hammer in very tightly into really tight square corners and spaces like this. And of course, while on camera, you gotta drop something. This is just a really good point to take and point out the value in practicing your hand hammering control. It really comes in handy. There are some guys out there that they learn purely on power equipment alone and do very little hand hammering to start their careers with or just start the hobby with, and it really hinders them in the long run. Because they don't have the hand hammering skills, they have to create the tooling to be used under power hammers or presses. And then that can get quite costly and a lot of times not needed when something as simple as picking up a hand hammer and going to the anvil could have worked just fine or just as well. So essentially what I'm doing here in this video is I'm giving this thing its form, and I'm really pulling down tapers from the center cross section out to each one of the ends of the cross and then flaring them a bit to give the cross more dimension. I personally did not like the shape when it was just flame cut edge. I really dislike that look on this particular cross, And I found the forged finish to be a lot more aesthetically pleasing. I promise I won't make you watch the entire video of me just hand hammering this thing out. As you can tell, this is in real time, and there's a lot of work in it. But it's worth the effort. And as the piece cools there, you can start to see some of that tapering effect that I was talking about. All you have to do is just take your time and be patient. The end product will be worth it. Another thing to note, you'll notice I haven't done this all in just one heat either. It takes several heats to do this and to do a proper job of it. There are some things in blacksmithing you're not going to get away with being speedy at. This video here is a 9-minute long video, and essentially this is about 20-25 minutes of work in the actual video full time. A lot has been edited out here just to save time, i.e. getting tools ready, making sure everything's ready to go. You don't just start hammering. Your metal doesn't just start off being ready to forge. This all goes into the time and process of a job. And that's perfectly okay. It's going to take what it's going to take. This particular day here, I believe I worked a 16-hour day. So when you have 16 hours more of work to do on a job or on other jobs or other work that you have to transfer off, shoot YouTube videos, things like that, it's pretty good and pretty wise to pace yourself so this way you don't get wore out. There's a lot of people who lay claim to just being able to work like a horse 16 hours a day, work with a 20-pound hammer, and, still walk uphill both ways to school every day. But I do not find any of that to be factual. In the long run, there is only so long that you can take and swing a hand hammer for each and every day to no hurt to you. And, there's only so many hours in a day. You still have to be a human being. We weren't meant to be machines. So just take your time on processes like this. They're fairly complicated shapes. Make sure you have good control over your hammer. Make sure that your forging dimensions are straight and squared away. If you undertake a full-bodied cross like this, all in one piece, it'll present you some very interesting challenges. And those challenges can all be overcome with a little bit of practice. That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this series on making this cross. God bless you, and we'll catch you on the next one.